how do you see the role of HR evolving, and what do HR leaders specifically need to do differently?
They need to be in the C-suite at the table with I think it was The Economist, and you might have pointed this out, had an article that your chief human resource officer in the virus is equivalent and perhaps maybe more important than your chief financial officer in the global financial crisis. I couldn't agree more. And before the virus, I was saying that the HR needs to be elevated. You're the engine and the brake. At the end of the day, look at every organization. You've got infrastructure, you've got access to capital, you've got some technologies, and then you've got humans. And on the first three things can scale very quickly in any organization. It's the humans that make a difference, so that makes HR the engine and the brake of a company's success.
Yeah, and you mentioned IBM, and I think the Economist article cited Diane Gerson, the CHRO there. Quite a different sort of profile for a CHRO, a business person at the end of the day, compared to maybe the traditional and prototype CHRO of the past. And are you seeing that in some of the organizations you're working with, like AT&T, for example?
Yeah, you see more business people. I would like to see, along with the chief human resource officer, a chief learning scientist who understands. Because if at the end of the day, if you start looking ahead the next 5-10 years, every organization has to be a learning organization.
Yeah.
Learning has to be part of work. We all need to be more adaptable. And if you had a chief learning scientist in there, they would understand when learning needs to take place and when learning is taking place that you might not be acknowledging, might not be making explicit, and might not be socializing.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that develops, because you can see that learning, as we've talked about throughout the discussion, really getting more and more important. That's just going to continue, isn't it? So.
Yeah, and concepts like having, an anthropologist or an ethnographer, Genevieve Bell was at Intel like 20, 30 years ago, and that was considered odd. I can see a lot more Genevieve Bell types out there in organizations, because the slowest rate of your change for the rest of your life is right now, and it's only going to accelerate. And so helping humans adapt to technology change, or in this moment, a change brought on by a global pandemic, or other aspects of globalization is also going to be key to success, because we're in a massive mental health crisis. We were in one before this happened. We're going to be in one. So having people mentally healthy, understanding how people adapt to change, understanding how people interact with technology, and understanding how people learn, that's all the stuff that I think is the future of work.
In this series, we will be speaking to a range of senior leaders who are pushing a data-driven and digital HR agenda. Make sure that you subscribe via your podcast app of choice, and also via our YouTube channel for free and regular interviews with the digital HR leaders of the future.